Hello, and welcome to Haunted Sponge Definitely Solves Hunt-A-Killer. I am at Haunted Sponge. My name is Will Rogers. You can follow me on the internet and stuff. We're back a little bit early, a little bit of an odd schedule here. I've had this box, Season 2, Episode 3 of Hunt-A-Killer, sitting in my house for the past couple of weeks. I had been behind, I'd been negligent in my duties, and I decided, why am I waiting? There's another shipment that's going to come in a couple of weeks. Let me just get up to speed. So, here we go. We're going to dig into this box and figure out what exactly is the evolution of this story. As usual, this box was sent to me by Hunt-A-Killer. They send me these boxes in exchange for me broadcasting and humiliating myself all over the internet. If you want to get your own Hunt-A-Killer box, of course, you should go and do so at huntakiller.com. You're about to watch me fumble with clues. Why don't you fumble with them yourself, pal? And as usual, I like to do these videos live first. So always pay attention to @HauntedSponge. That's my social media account, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I do announcements when I'm going to be doing the next live video so that you can join the chat like our friends here that are joining us tonight. All right. Typically, I would try to wrap up any sort of like unfinished business from the last box. And one of the big elements for me from episode 2 of season 2 was that we had gotten a segment of a painting of what appeared to be a circus. And it had a spiral of characters that seemed to be a coded message. And I never really figured out what that was. Well, it's been 2 weeks since I did that video. I still don't know what it is. I have no idea what was going on with that, and I hope I will know someday in the future. But that does mean that we're just going to blaze ahead and take a look at what was in the box. And what was in the box? Well, something pretty surprising and something really, really cool. So, as per usual, we were given, sort of like little clues, printouts. This happens to be a newspaper article. This follows up on a case that we had previously been investigating. But on the reverse side, Hunt-A-Killer pays attention to the details. On a newspaper, it's not just a single-sided story. It's printed on both sides, of course. And what is this article on the back? Is it just fluff? Flock of dead birds discovered at rec center pool. Well, first of all, it got me thinking because we've had multiple instances throughout the Hunt-A-Killer experience of there being articles about animals turning up dead or people stumbling across dead animals in weird ways. I don't want to spoil in this video the premium 1934 box. I have done that elsewhere on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/talkbomb. You can watch me talk about the whole thing. But there is an instance of that occurring, people finding a random dead animal. Last time, I believe it was, we had a fisherman who found a dead cow on a boat, which was weird. And this article is about somebody finding a flock of dead birds, but not just any someone, a very special someone. The local recreation center closed its pool until further notice while management decides what to do with nearly 200 dead birds found in the water Tuesday morning. Curiosity peaked for Charlie Goss, maintenance supervisor for the center, when he discovered the birds, all of which were floating in the pool. Charlie Goss. Well, how about that? That's my Jack Nicholson. Charles Goss in the chat right now in the live version of this video is doing a maniacal laugh, and he should be. You've made it into the game, buddy. What a weird little Easter egg. I would not have anticipated that in a million years, that Hunt-A-Killer, that Ryan Hogan, Derek Smith, they'd be watching and paying attention to who's playing the game and just go like, all right, I'm the puppeteer here. Why don't I just pluck some names? It's like, it's almost in like a dreamlike way where we've been on the sidelines for so long, and then dreams are so wishy-washy that you get reworked like Dorothy. In The Wizard of Oz, how the Tin Man and the Cowardly Man and the Scare Man were all dreamlike versions of the farmhands, where it's like Charles Goss has been playing the game, and oh wow, through the process of creativity here, very dreamlike process, he has become maintenance supervisor for a recreation center, finding 200 dead birds. So congratulations, Charles. What are you going to do with your birds now? Because what I hear from that is you just got free birds. But that's not the only Easter egg there was in the box. For the record, Charles, before you go thinking like, oh, wow, I'm Charles Goss. Look at me, I'm so impressive. I'm one of the VIPs of HAK. Well, guess what, buddy? You ain't the only one. Season 2, Episode 3 of Hunter Killer has a second surprise. Maybe. This is looser, but it also feels like, how could this possibly be a coincidence? Charles, get off my screen. Also in the box, we had this card, Happy Balloon Fun. What you were supposed to do, you're supposed to cross out each of these balloons on the front and on the back. You can see that there are different characters. You're supposed to slide them together to make a sort of bizarre, I don't know, like little statuette things so that you can read a secret message. But curiously, on this, it says, Happy Balloon Fun, Shrine of the Sun Hot Air Balloon Grand Prix. Seems like window dressing, but what does it really mean? Well, let's do some investigating. Here we go. Google.com, Shrine of the Sun. Not Silver Monkey. Oh! Will Rogers, Shrine of the Sun. Bam, bam, bam. My name is Will Rogers, and I think Hunter Killer knew that. I can't say for certain. Yeah, is this an Easter egg? Are there two hidden players in Hunter Killer now? I mean, this is literally referring to the famous cowboy rope trick Will Rogers, but maybe it's also referring to me. My name, Will Rogers, sounds a lot like Will Rogers. I didn't even know that this thing existed, and when I was a kid, I was obsessed with the famous Will Rogers, the rope trick. Let's see if I can just pull up an image of this guy. Will Rogers, beloved. He was the guy that said, I never met a man I didn't like. I think this is just a show. I was afraid that if I just searched the name Will Rogers, it would only come up with pictures of me. I'd probably be buried on page like 9,000. Yeah, this is an old-timey, this is me. Look, this is my forebear, old-timey broadcaster. Bam. But I thought that was very cool. That was a very uplifting, exciting thing to stumble across. Charlie Goss and Will Rogers hidden inside Hunter Killer. How exciting is that? I was really pumped when I saw that, you guys. How did you feel about that, Charles? How'd you feel about that? That was really cool. Let me see. I want to just check out the chat for a couple of seconds here, because I think that those are pretty fun discoveries. Aislinn Butler, thank you for tuning in. When you try to fast forward through the intro but forget this is a live video. Hey, I tried to warn you guys. Get rid of the intros. If you're not watching this live, you should probably just watch it over on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/talkbomb. And everything is there. I did all of season 1 of Hunter Killer. We're in the middle of the 3rd episode of season 2, but we're doing that. I've done the 1934 box. I have not done the 1968 premium box, but maybe I will someday. Christy Spinks, that article you had in the 1934 box showed up on the back of my Lloyd McGowan death article. Yes, there are secret connections between the 1934 box and the Hunter Killer month-to-month series. These articles, like I said, they're kind of like, they're props, they're window dressing. You kind of might reuse some of those props when you need to, and it seems like Hunter Killer has needed to. Although I do wonder if there is some secret secondary narrative going on with this series about how animals keep turning up dead under strange circumstances. 200 birds dead? Are we, you know, if we wanted to be like a real sort of like analytical story analysis dorks, could we say that whatever John William James is up to, whatever his game plan is, are his methods supernatural? Not literally, but is this sort of a metaphor for what he is doing? He's sort of destroying the world. He's bringing about a reckoning. I don't know. Charles Goss just called me a hot air boy. My mom says, I love your notoriety, Will. Thank you, Mom. Oh, I should also point out, and this was a very good note, I was speaking to my mother before the show. She warned me that tonight the revival of Will and Grace comes back on NBC at 9 p.m. So I'm going to try to make sure that this video ends no later than 8:59. Not only so that I can definitely rush to go watch that show. I've never seen an episode. But also because I know that you guys are all just counting down. You're just trying to waste time with me until Will and Grace comes back. So why should I sit here while you guys all leave me? Anyway. Charles says we're famous. You're correct. All right. Now let's get into the story. Enough navel gazing. Enough fame mongering. Is that a term? We once again were greeted in this package with another form letter from Talaria, which appears to be the correspondence agency / maybe cult, whatever bizarre underground organization John William James is sending his correspondence to us through. It is the exact same letter as episodes 1 and 2, which again I find weird. I mentioned it in my unboxing video, but I feel like it's cool because it makes it feel like it's this bizarre cryptic thing that is endless. They don't have a goal in mind, Talaria. They don't have an agenda. They just are. This is what we do, and we do it each time, and there are no deviations. I think that's kind of interesting, but it's also a weird thing to make sure that you orchestrate as a company, to make sure that you have this card, this thick like paper stock, and it's interesting. It's interesting. I want to see that Talaria story evolve. There's a reference to it in the John William James letter. What I can tell from this box is that we're being funneled from sort of the grander, like, wow, what's going on here, down to more of like, oh, this is exactly the plot. Previously, we weren't entirely 100% definitely sure where John William James was, what he was up to. This box is so heavily focused on a single place, Colorado. And it really starts with, why don't we do this first? This is a letter from Aaron DeVale, or Vi, V-A-I-L-L-E. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. We may have heard of Aaron before, but let me read some of his note real quick. The Dragon Swan and I have been in communication for quite a while now, since our paths crossed for the first time in the white, paint-chipped halls of Darlington, referring to Listening Friends of America, the organization that was heavily featured in Season 1. Aaron DeVale, as per this note at this point, I'm just going, I guess he and John William James knew each other from Listening Friends of America. Ever since, our initiative has gone rather well, aside from a few slight complications caused by my transfer, of course. But in time, distance becomes an awfully daunting obstacle in this sort of thing. It is, as a great man once said, you can't wait for inspiration. You have to go after it with a club. Consequently, I find it most suitable that we mingle our fates through this, although primitive, means of discourse, which I guess is letter writing. I feel that this will prove beneficial to us both. He goes on to say that mankind's misguided faith in the material cannot stand forever. They cannot deny nature, and soon they will be as gone and forgotten as the flightless dodo. Metamorphosis is not enough. No, it is transmutation we require. Natural law demands that only the strong survive. It is time to take evolution into our own hands. So clearly, an indoctrinated member of John William James's cult. But, curiously, this note ends with this symbol, which I can actually put on the screen right there. This weirdo symbol, and I have no idea what it is. Spoiler alert, I do not know what it means. I would point out that it kind of loosely resembles the Listening Friends of America logo to me a little bit. The fact that it's radiating in a circle. I thought maybe these sort of protrusions on either side, you can see that, imagine that this is a compass rose. East and west have dashes coming out of the sides, and we have that sort of diagonal line in the middle. I wondered if those would have been pointing at certain letters of the Listening Friends of America logo, which is written in a circular way around a center point. But I do not think that is the case. I wonder if this is meant to be overlaid on a map to provide a path, which does not seem impossible to me. But I just don't know. This is just a mystery. If anybody in the chat has any revelations, about this symbol, please do feel free to type them in. But I am currently unaware of what it means. So let's jump now to our John William James letter. As usual, we are still in constant correspondence with our dearest friend. He essentially in this letter, what he does is he goes on to talk about what's becoming of his sort of his targets, his cult members. He says that Bob, who we know, this guy Bob killed his mom, says Bob is growing his parish well. With the death of his mother, he has become free, and with his delivery, saved his first soul. So I guess, you know, John William James is not only, quote unquote, saving people himself, he's starting little franchises along the way. It's like McDonald's growing across the country. He's having people start their own restaurant. Cleo has, unfortunately, made a mistake. Now, Cleo, in the last box, we saw John William James had sent her a cryptic note that said, kill a stranger, free yourself from pain and sorrow. And that, coupled with now this new article on the backside of the Charles Goss article, explains that there was a woman who was caught having murdered a guy and hidden his body in honey. She sells honey. People were complaining about the way the honey tasted. The police checked and found a dead body. She said he was a total stranger. Then she seemed spooked when she was arrested, but not by the police. When they patted her down for weapons, the only thing they found was a small, sharp alligator tooth. Because it was sharp, the tooth was confiscated. The young woman did not react well to losing the trinket. She started flailing around, screaming. It was horrible, the source said. She said she couldn't disappoint the dragon or something like that. Crazy stuff. Anyone with information related to the incident is encouraged to contact local police at the crime tip hotline. So back to the John William James letter. Cleo has unfortunately made a mistake. She got caught. You can see for yourself the consequences of her failure. During my visit to this new town on my spiral towards ascension, which is funny, I usually think of a spiral as being, you know, like a downward spiral or something. An upward spiral towards ascension. I have made arrangements to clean it all up. One good mess deserves another. Do you not agree? Now, he keeps talking about messes. He keeps talking about at a certain point, he says, it's the next sentence. I know the perfect cleanup man. You may know of him. He was once my brightest pupil, one of my earliest disciples. Unfortunately, a conspiracy to cull my great vision grew into an operational priority for those formerly in charge at Darlington. He is directly referring to what we know from the season 1 finale, that he had a disciple at Darlington. This man was in charge of maintenance in some form, and he was transferred away to Colorado, and his name was Aaron DeVale. And the fact that he was a janitor of sorts is why John William James refers to him as a cleanup man. And it is why he says, you can see for yourself the consequences of failure. I've made arrangements to clean it all up. I'm wondering if he's enlisting the help of Aaron DeVale to kill Cleo, who has been captured, is behind bars, and yet has a loose tongue. She's saying stuff about how she's going to disappoint the dragon. The dragon swan cannot allow himself to be known. Surely, we must all realize this. With my newfound mobility, I will finally reunite with this disciple of mine. He now dwells in a state which honored the Jurassic 26 years after I was born. Such colorful thoughts. Many of our species seek prominence through the past. It is such a silly endeavor, brought on by the wishes of the infirm to seek meaning in something they believe to be certain. It is unfortunate for the delusional that not even the past is immutable. So, he is indeed meeting up with Aaron DeVale. Now, here's where things take a little bit of a turn. I took a look at the remaining items in the box. We have this map. Don't really know. At a glance, it's hard to tell what this is, what it means. We have this. This is a profile about a woman named Clarissa Hatherley, with handwritten notes about how she lives with her boyfriend and fights with him. She kicked a pigeon once, which is also a Premium Bucks reference, I believe. We have this Pikes Peak Animal Supply certificate for Employer of the Month for Catherine Hill. Hard to say what this refers to, although another fun Easter egg that's definitely not intended. They say that this proud wife and mother of two still finds time to volunteer, collecting trash at Palmer Park on the weekends. Palmer is my wife's last name. Anyway, we have this interesting profile of a man named John, who loves his family, and they go to a cottage in Martha's Vineyard sometimes. And we have this cryptic sort of runic symbol note. Definitely needs to be translated into to letters. Now, I wasn't really sure quite what to do, what to make of all of this. We've got profiles of 3 people, a map, what is going on? And that is when I jumped to something that felt obvious. This is our activity. Last time we had our sort of like bumblebee card thing. This time our arts and crafts project is Happy Balloon Fun. Now, because I'm a little bit neurotic and I don't like destroying anything that comes in the boxes, I opted not to cut out those parts of the hot air balloons. Instead, I printed my own, I copied them and printed them, and I could see that when you arrange these pieces properly and insert them into each other, so you make this 3-dimensional hot air balloon, you can see that you can spell a word. E, capital E, L-E, C-T, I-O, N-E-S. Elecciones. Which is obviously some sort of Latin word, I don't know. But that means, bingo, we just found our clue for Whispers from Theodorus. And indeed, if you search the word elecciones, you get a button to click. When you click the button, you're brought to a screen where you can type in a password, and the password is the translation of elecciones, what it means in English, which is C-H-O-I-S-E-S, choices. And that is where I really started my process, in case you were wondering. The fact that you can go now to this page and read what we're supposed to do. This is sort of our hint page. Choices are the forks in the road. How easily we may recognize their origin. We may never know where they lead. By now I assume you recognize my newest disciple. He has a powerful mind and a rigid determination. He is unlike you, my friend, in that he lacks much of your curious nature. He has other qualities I admire, but he would have been unfit for your position because we're the historian. Aaron has a choice to make. Of the 3, who do you think he will decide on to lead him into his great transformation? I know who I would, who I believe he should choose. We will see what happens. I must allow him to believe he has a choice, that he has free will to do as he sees fit. But his actions must align with my own designs, or I will demand indemnification. I asked him to introduce himself to you as a courtesy. I did not read his letter. There is nothing he could tell you I do not already know. He says, peruse the map he gave you, compare it to the original map. You'll find something. Trace Aaron's path. You'll discover his. A bunch of stuff like that. Now, frankly, what I really took from this is that the profiles of these people are potential victims. And I think that's the one and only way to read it, as far as I have surmised. So what we are meant to do, and it's not as though we can plug this in anywhere and check to see if we're right, wrong, or whatever. We have to sit down and we have to consider which person John William James believes Aaron DeVale should murder. Is it Clarissa Hatherley, who lives with her boyfriend? They fight often. She spends weekends at 16th Street shopping for junk. Aaron DeVale saw her kick a pigeon once. She yells at homeless people and beggars. Is it Catherine Hill, who does charity work in nature and loves dogs and works for an animal supply company? Is it this guy? Let's talk about this guy, John. In order to properly talk about John, we need to pay a visit to a place that we haven't had much reason to think about in the past couple of months. That place is, of course, Listening Friends of America. Listening Friends of America has a Facebook page. We've known this for quite some time. If you check out some of their posts, you can see in the photos section a very familiar looking fella. It is this man, the man from the box. And now we can read the full description of who he is. We'd like to take a moment to spotlight another one of our employees who has proven himself instrumental to the Listening Friends of America family. John Blaine is the Listening Friends of America corporate controller, and he works out of our Colorado Springs facility. Under his guidance, LFOA has enjoyed a fiscal stability that enabled us to grow and flourish in our mission of providing emotional release for all those under our care. John, 49, graduated from the University of Denver twice, first with a BS in economics, then with an MBA. He enjoys restoring historic cars and spending summers with his wife and 3 children in their cottage in Martha's Vineyard. Everyone who works with John loves him and sees him as an inspiration. Thank you, John, for all your hard work and for leading by wonderful example. Aaron DeVille should not kill this man. First things first, I have, I think, a decent motive to kill one of the others. Second of all, he works for Listening Friends of America. If you're trying to fly below the radar, as it seems that John William James has been, he's not happy that Cleo said what she did about the dragon, it seems. Why would he ever advocate for one Listening Friends of America employee killing another? Recently, very recently, Jacob Nilsson will have turned up dead. George Madsen is missing. So is Valerie Madsen. You know, there's only so much smoke before people find the fire. And for that reason, and that reason really alone, because there's nothing else here that I think would typically eliminate him from this killer's watchful gaze, that is the reason why I think this is not the victim for Aaron DeVale to kill. And I will make my case for who he should kill in just a moment. Charles Goss pointed out that the Aaron DeVale quote was from a man named Jack London, who was a writer. Christy Spink says, as long as they aren't using their members in the recipes. Spoke too soon, yeah, about the lady killing the guy and putting her in honey. Yeah, the lady we'll get to in a moment does look like Cameron Diaz, whose name I couldn't remember. My mom says, kicked a pigeon. I don't like her. I don't like her either, Mom. Don't go around kicking pigeons. Pigeons don't need to be kicked. Plus, like 200 birds just turned up dead. Let's be nice to the birds that are still alive. Okay? Let's move on to the second potential victim. Catherine Hill. I don't think that she is due to be the next victim either. For one thing, everything that is written on this page suggests that she is an all-around wonderful person. Hardworking member of the Pikes Peak Animal Supply team. Proud wife and mother of 2, finds time to volunteer, collects trash at Palmer Park. Employee of the month. Just a great person. I don't know a reason why you would kill her. I maybe have a reason why it will be the answer that she is the victim, but I feel like I'm on the right path that she shouldn't be, except for the fact that this person, Cameron Diaz, Clarissa Hatherley, is so obviously the intended victim that it makes me think she's not going to be the intended victim. However, I'm going to make an argument right now that she should be the victim. First of all, I was not able to track down this page. Whatever this is like a printout of a website. I never found this website. I do not know where it is. But the notations here, which I presume are written by Aaron DeVale, lives with boyfriend, they fight often. Spends weekends at 16th Street shopping for junk. That is critical. Saw her kick a pigeon. That is critical. Yells at homeless and beggars. What I think is that Aaron DeVale is enraged by traits he notices in humanity that he thinks are not proper ways to spend your time. If you remember at the bottom of his weird letter, he said, mankind, let's start a little bit earlier. I aspire to liberate mankind from this corporeal world. They live mindlessly in accordance to the episteme, I don't know how to pronounce that, I'm not too smart, so infatuated by the hordes of things they've accrued that it is killing them, suggesting that people are buying so much stuff, so materialistic. Mankind is not unlike narcissists, staring into the reflecting pool, don't you think? It is a high point of vanity, no doubt. All that there really is to depend on in this world is natural order. Mankind's misguided faith in the material cannot stand forever. They cannot deny nature, and soon they will be as gone and forgotten as the flightless dodo. Not only a condemnation of burying yourself in material goods. Reminder, Clarissa Hatherley shops for junk every weekend, but also a strong love for nature, the natural order. We just talked about it, but our good buddy John travels with his family to Martha's Vineyard all the time. I was recently in Martha's Vineyard. It's beautiful. You can stare out at the water. You can walk around. There's plenty of like woods. You can kind of feel like you're in the middle of nowhere a little bit. It's an island, but it is a natural place. You're steeped in a world of nature, natural beauty. Our friend, the employee of the month at Pikes Peak Animal Supply, works with animals. She's the employee of the month at an animal supply store. She collects trash at Palmer Park. She preserves nature. She doesn't destroy it. We know that this Cameron Diaz lady is kicking pigeons and stuff like a weirdo, like a real creep. She's going out and buying a bunch of stuff and kicking pigeons and yelling at homeless people. Horrible person. Now, once again, I feel like that is absolutely playing into what I believe to be the MO of Aaron DeVale. He loves nature. She seemingly does not. But the fact that there is so much that screams from this page, victim, makes me feel like it's a red herring. But I feel like it can't be at the same time. I feel like it so much feels like a red herring that the only real way to pay it off is to be like, yeah, no, actually, not a red herring, just straight up the victim. I feel like it's her. But let's see if there's anything else that we can find to corroborate our theory. After this, Charles Goss in the chat. Clarissa kicked a pigeon. Seems like a small thing to point out unless you want to justify killing her. The rest of the list is just what sounds like a run-of-the-mill terrible person, but not any reason to kill her, except for the rage about valuing material goods and just wasting your life buying these vain, vapid things that just accrue around you and eventually become your tomb. I should gesture behind me. That's a Ghostface toy from Scream. Right there, I have that. And then there's another Ghostface from Scream. Funko Pop, I have that there. Don't kill me, Aaron DeVale. But yeah, I feel like those are the reasons. Love of nature, hatred of material goods. But I feel like one of the biggest clues, of course, comes from this. Our weirdo map. This map has no identification on it. It doesn't say where it is. It doesn't list out anything more than just street names, which doesn't help a great deal, except we now know a million things are happening in Colorado. I mean, honestly, if you even just look up, what was it called? Pikes Peak Animal Supply. I find it so weird when Hunt a Killer does this. It's cool because it reminds us that the game we're playing takes place in the real world, but like that company is real. The Pikes Peak Animal Supply that woman works at is a real place. You know, I don't think that she's a real person, but it's actually real. It's actually in Colorado. I didn't they get in? I feel like there was something from episode 1, season 1, episode 1, a newspaper article that was written by a real person, and I think I didn't read it, or I never bothered to tweet at him because it seemed like it was clear he wasn't part of the game other than Hunt a Killer using the article. I think that he had to be like, hey guys, stop tweeting at me. Like, I'm a real dude out here. I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting that this is a real place. No fictional places. It definitely makes it real. It's like augmented reality. It's like Pokemon Go in some weird way. But anyway, despite not having any names on this map, it was easy enough to start to track down where this was. And I think the way that I did it was I used El Paso Boulevard in Colorado. And I think what I literally did was I found right here El Paso Boulevard, and I just continued to scroll along it until I saw a road jut off of it that I recognized from the map. And like a cooking show, I'll just cut to the chase. It's right here. This is it. You can see El Paso Boulevard is down here. This is what is on the map. This is the place. And not only that, first of all, what I did was I took this and then I overlaid the map that we were supplied on top of it. But then I remembered that as per the Elecciones, Whispers from Theodoras blog post, John William James advised that we find the original version of the map and just compare it to the one that we received. So I also did that. And do I have it here? Let me see. Well, that's the answer. Whatever. When you find the real map, I felt that there wasn't much of a difference between the map that we were given in the box and the original version of this map that's online. A lot of these elements are not on the page where they appear here. For example, this yield to thing is like in the upper section over here on the real map, and there are a lot of blurbs about what some of this stuff means. Like you can see these little triangles with numbers in them. The real map tells you what they are. They're different sort of like mountains and structures and things like that. But the thing that I noticed was different on this map. You can see yield to. You can see it's bicycle yields to climbing man and person with dog. And the original version of the map doesn't have the person walking their dog. It has a guy on a horse. It's got a person on a horsey. So that felt like it was the primary difference. And I don't know what to make of it. I have two interpretations. Two interpretations. One, the fact that we have this original version with a person on a pony, it made me think, okay, well, we're going to get rid of somebody that's on a horse, right? Because we're literally saying, take the person on the horse, get rid of them, replace it with a person with a dog. So I started checking, is one of our three suspects associated with horses? Do they ride horses? Are we going to get rid of one of them? No. So it means that the addition of the doggy is significant, not so much the subtraction of the horse. The addition of the doggy is really, really significant. And it means one of two things. One, it could be a sort of bizarre reference to the fact that Catherine Hill from Pikes Peak Animal Supply with a doggy right here on the Employee of the Month certificate, she could be the person with the dog. Are we targeting the person with the dog? Are we adding, we're going to focus on person with a dog? That's a possibility, but once again, I think that the intended victim is that Cameron Diaz lady. And frankly, the other thing that I think that this might mean, and might more importantly mean, is this. My dog is barking at the dog on TV. This is an image of Aaron DeVale from the Listening Friends of America Facebook page. This has been there for quite some time. As you can see, it was posted in October 10th, 2015, although I think you can backdate Facebook posts, so well done, Hunt-A-Killer, for making us all like wring our hands and rack our brains. You can see that I actually commented on ellipses at the end of June on this. I think I was trying to plant a flag and say, hey, I found this. I know it's important. 3 months ago. So in this edition of the Staff Spotlight, a valuable member of our team at the Colorado Springs facility, Aaron DeVale, custodial manager, real cleanup man. Aaron has been with us since 2004 and has never missed a single day of work. Starting as a custodian in Darlington, Aaron was recognized immediately for his positive attitude and helpful nature, always showing up 15 minutes early to assess all the tasks that need completion. Aaron never leaves a task unfinished, and he brings great care to everything he does at Listening Friends of America. Sometimes Aaron can be found talking with patients and often mentions how lucky he is to have so many friends where he works. Referencing John William James, I assume. His dedication has been demonstrated over and over again, both at our Darlington facility and currently in our Colorado Springs facility, where he is now custodial manager. In his spare time, Aaron breeds huskies and shows his dog, Wally. Together, Aaron and Wally have won several regional championships. We thank you, Aaron, and we are proud to have you heading up the new custodial department in Colorado Springs. Man with a dog. This is a fellow with a pooch. Kind of like this fellow with a pooch, right? So what this might mean, this organizational chart, could possibly mean bicycle. Yields to hiking guy and person with a dog. Yields to both. Hiking guy yields to person with a dog. So in terms of like a hierarchical chain, person with a dog is at the top. Person with the dog is where it's at. Person with the dog isn't yielding to anyone else. Hiking person is above bike, but it's below person with the dog. And and the bicycle is below both of them. So you're at the bottom of the food chain. In this region, in this park, Aaron DeVale is the top dog. You got to be careful if you go to West Colorado Springs, because this is where Aaron DeVale spends his days. This is where he goes to work, his stomping grounds. Also, fun fact, we were talking about Easter eggs before. Check this out. Search Google for this image. I was curious. I'm a curious fella by nature. You can see that Google is guessing, this might be a picture of a dog. This is what a dog looks like, by the way. But if you scroll down, you'll see, from Shutterstock.com, stock photo website, young, beautiful girl playing dog. Aaron DeVale is a young, beautiful girl. Confirmed. And you can see all the original stock photography. Here's Aaron DeVale with his doggy on some nice green grass. Here he is with double dogs. This guy could probably do a double pup cuddle up. Do you know how rare that is? Having double pups to cuddle ups. Anyway, just stupid. I just thought it was funny to say cute girl, plays with dog or whatever. All right, let's check out the chat here. What's going on? I feel like I've been screaming my throat sore. Woohoo! Could that map be of Palmer Park? Palmer Park, I think, is further to the east, I want to say, which also puts her out of that range, potentially. I don't know about the exact locations here. Charles Goss, the animal supply is close to the mapped area. Yeah, that makes me worry that maybe she is intended to be the victim. But I still think that Cameron Diaz is where it's truly at. They not only have you in the game, but your doggy too. Oh, Molly gets completely invested. Her name is Molly. The article on the back of the article in your 1934 box. Yeah, that's what I was referring to before. A lot of animal stuff going on in the newspaper articles. Christy Spinks wants Charles to go clean her kitchen. I see, because Charles and Aaron DeVale are both in like custodial work. Christy Marie Williamson Turner. Wasn't there a custodian who was involved in the Lloyd McGowan case? There was. Was it Aaron DeVale? Was it? I don't remember. I can't access my memory banks that far. The custodian in the Lloyd McGowan case was Robert Zykuski. Okay. All right. Yes, that is right. All right. So not Aaron DeVale. Okay. What have we not covered yet? I think I know who the victim is intended to be. I think literally the final piece of the puzzle that I have is this runic thingamajig. So here's what's up. I have no idea what it means. I don't know what I'm doing with it. I've sat down and racked my brains trying to figure out what it translates to, how to substitute in actual characters, and I have come up with nothing. frankly, I started putting together a spreadsheet so that I could just kind of handily type in possibilities of things and try to figure it out that way, but I don't even know if I'm going to get anywhere with it. One of the things that I could do, and let's see if this works. This is going to be a little bit of experimentation. Let's set up a screen where we can mess around with symbols. I want to make sure that it's easy to read and see. Let's see. I'm going to take that. And we're going to... Okay. Let me see what you guys are seeing. Okay. So here's a spreadsheet where I basically just laid out the structure of what the symbols look like. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put it on the left side of the screen. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So hopefully it's still pretty legible, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and take this, which is the rune page. I have a habit of always making a scan of everything that we are working with. Just so that I can't, it's not as though I could ever be away from home and not have access to my stuff. So this spreadsheet is meant to mimic the structure of this document. And I figure that every time that there is a character that doesn't touch another line, it's its own character. So like this is a 3-letter word. I know that this looks like a K, but I think that this is a 3-letter word, whatever this is. So I made some basic assumptions. I'm just going to show you guys my thought process. Maybe we'll play around with it a little more, but I have not cracked it myself yet. This like straight up I, this number 1 looking symbol, this straight stick. From what I can tell, it is either the letter A or the letter I. I believe it has to be a vowel because there are no one-letter words that are just a consonant. So it's A-E-I-O-U. And you could say like, a man is dead. That's definitely not what this says because this symbol and that symbol are not both D's. They're not the same symbol. But like I'm trying to make some assumptions. So I think this is I or A. So for the sake of argument, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to make every single time that appears, I'm going to make it an A. Let's just pick one for the sake of argument. We'll go with A. So every time that sort of stick appears, I'm going to fill it in. And in this way, we're kind of playing hangman. We're going to make assumptions about things, and we're going to see where those assumptions bring us. Maybe it will be nowhere, but maybe it will be somewhere. The only way to find out is to mess around with it. It's straight up detective work, and it's a word game. I like word games. All right. We have a 3-letter word here. We think now that it's blank A blank. We've got a 2-letter word here. I found this very interesting. This sort of bump on a log thing, M, repeats itself down here. So whatever this is, it's a somewhat common word. One of the assumptions that I made as I was messing around with this, and I don't think that it actually led me anywhere. It didn't lead me down a road that felt valuable. I assumed perhaps for the sake of argument, that it could be the word is, I-S. Fairly common word, right? I-S, which means bump on a log would be I. So we're going to fill in that everywhere. And it means that M would be S. Or what? My bad. Would be S. Now, once again, I'm not super confident about that. S is one of the most frequently used letters in the English language. And the fact that it is only used twice in here isn't super convincing. Oh, Charles, you're blowing my mind, man. Google rune alphabet translation and click the first white image it gives you. That will help you with the letters. So you guys have already translated this then. All right, let's do that. Why not? What is the particular sentence? Rune alphabet translation. So that, I guess, is why I didn't get anywhere using or attempting to use just straight up logic. Are these our symbols? Yeah, these are our symbols. Okay. Yeah, all right, let's take this. So then, what is the best way to do this? Man alive. I'm gonna put it up here. This means that you guys won't be able to see 100% everything, but it should hopefully help. Why don't I duck you down a little further, and I'll shrink you. Okay. All right. I think this way we can see almost everything together. So then that sort of stick-like thing is I. So I was technically right about part of it. I made the wrong assumption to start. So I was starting with A, but the I is I. Now this sort of lowercase r looking thing is an L. Again, that's an I. I'm going to go ahead and just delete the stuff I already did, except for the ones that I know now. All the A's should be I's. Delete, 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 delete. Okay. All right, now the sort of K-looking thing, this just angular object is, I don't know, is it P? Look at the way P looks. P is just a K. But that also doesn't seem right. And also the word I lip. That's weird. All right, let's just fill in some stuff and we can come back and refine. All right, how do we get this bump on a log going? Is it TH? Oh my gosh, all my assumptions were wrong. TH. M is E. So it's the word the. Damn, this 2-letter assumption really is not paying off. Maybe this isn't one thing either. Could it be the L? No, because that seems right. Like L is that symbol. I'm going to go ahead and replace all of the times that this shows up. Okay. So I don't believe this word is correct. I lip the blah, blah, blah. Not right. But let's move on just for the sake of trying to complete it, and then we can spot very easily the things that don't make sense. All right, this like Twin Peaks sort of symbol. Maybe not. Maybe this is not the right alphabet. Am I disconnected? Uh-oh. Guys, am I back? Yeah, sorry. I think I got disconnected there for a second. All right, this is what Charles sent me. I think maybe he wanted me to see this don't drink and bike thing. I'm not sure. No, this is the alphabet. But again, I'm looking for that sort of Twin Peaksy looking thing, and I'm not seeing it. Is this the same as what I've been working with otherwise, though? Basically, why? Yeah, this is the same alphabet. So what the hell is the 2 peak thing? Right? I'm not nuts, right? Like this looks like an E, you know? What is it? Like I don't see 2 peaks on their on their sides. Oh, come on, man. Shrink. That's fine. That's good enough. You know what I mean? Like I don't see that represented anywhere. What the hell's going on? So does this alphabet, is this not the right alphabet? Is it a combination of things? Like the zodiac, right? The zodiac used multiple sort of like symbol types and runes and blah, 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 blah. Is this a different thing? Better alphabet. That word comes out to be list. S. Oh, so that sort of lightning bolt thing is the two peaks. Again, maybe it's like just sort of like different. All right, list T. All right, well, yeah, I guess that works out. So this is the two peaks. All right, anywhere else the two peaks appears as an S. Fair enough. Thank you for that, Charles. Very weird. Very weird. Subtle. It's like different handwriting or something, like a different font in the same language or something. Okay, so the arrow, anytime we see the arrow, that's a T. So, T. Any other arrows? No. Okay. Now this thing, this sort of like claw thing. Yo, same deal? All right, let's get a different one. Rune alphabet translation. And if I just see that claw thing at all, I'm just going to take it, right? That seems to be the same. Here we go. P. P-I. Yo. Yeah, I feel like I'm not getting direct. It's not clear. Like, is this? It's so weird that it's close but not identical. Here we go. Maybe it's this. K. And again, like maybe these things don't make like literal spelling sense. Like I lick the list is technically a sentence. It's not spelled right, but it's weird. Pick. All right, now what is this P thing? W. Pick. W-I. What is going on? Z. I mean, that's definitely the same thing, right? Pick whizzle. For shizzle whizzle. All right, now this crazy S is... It's not the same... Damn it! Guys, this is so... difficult. And weird. So what is this one? This sort of like hardcore lightning bolt S. This edgy S. The pick Wizzly. I mean, these can't be... This cannot be right. All right, N. I love how crazy this is, but it really just straight up makes me think that I'm being stupid right now. And again, different alphabet, but like that looks like the N, but it says it's W, but we previously found out that the P was W. What? I like the list. Charles is saying that this is supposed to be like, K-E. Pike. Oh, no. Is this supposed to be the word pike as in Pike's Peak, the dog lady? Pike's Peak Animal Society lady? So she is the dog referred to by the dog thing? Pick... How can this possibly turn from Wizzly into something real? Pick Wizzly. All right, the N-I-E. Where's the N? Where's that crazy looking N symbol? H? Historian. I'm just going to go ahead and just, bam. Historian. Which means that I can figure out some of the rest of this. N. This is O. The historian will know. I like the list. Oh, I see what's going on. I like the list. Pick wisely. The historian will know. Wow. Runes are complicated, everyone. That is wacky. That is whacktastic. I like the list. Pick Wizzly. Wizzly was my nickname in high school. Wizzly Rogers, they used to call me. And they all didn't talk to me for fun. Anyway, pick Weasley, the historian, will know. So, do I call that a win? Did I get the right one? Because I posited a potential theory for why he would want to kill. Oh, no. Never mind. I like the list. Pick wisely, the historian will know. So what we've seen is there's not actually a selection being made. I forgot that. I thought for a second the P-I-K, I thought that was supposed to spell pike, not pick. I thought he was saying I picked the Pike's Peak lady. But no, it's pick wisely. So we still don't know what the selection was. So my theory still stands. I think that he's going to pick the person that seems most obvious to pick, which would be this Cameron Diaz lady. She's had a good run. She was in The Mask. She'll be fine. She was also in Charlie's Angels 2 Full Throttle. Yeah. Okay. Then I think Aaron DeVale is going to kill Cameron Diaz. I guess that is the solution. I'm glad that. Thank you very much for helping me out with that, you guys. It was like so hard to put that together, and like the runes weren't like direct translations. That was really complicated. Is there anything else? I'm going to start doing some wrap up here. But Charles, is there anything else that I didn't get to that you think is worth pointing out here? Any of you guys? I only say Charles because I know that he's been in conversations with people in the November 2016 Facebook group. But any of you, is there anything else that I have not highlighted, put a spotlight on that you want me to cover before I duck out of here? Because I think that this is actually a pretty clean place to break. We have discovered a secret message here. It did occur to me that there is a previous secret message that I never decoded, which was whatever message was written on that like coffee filter thing. Never found out what that was. I think that was in season 2, episode 1, I want to say. Never determined what it meant. But hey, we got through, I think, did we get through literally everything that was in this box? We read every clue and discovered what it may all add up to. That's pretty cool. There are only 3 episodes left of this season. We're at the 50% mark. This is halfway through season 2 of Hunt a Killer, and it's real weird. It feels like it is still about growing your cult, but it's also strange that John William James drops references to the fact that, like, you know, Aaron DeVale feels like he has a choice in the matter, but he doesn't really. John William James is calling the shots, and if he screws up, it's a major screw up. I think that's an interesting stance for this game to take, that John William James is growing his flock, but they are not as in control as he leads them to believe they are. You know, he's got that guy Bob out there who's getting his own disciples, but is he really? He's still doing it in the name of John William James. Pretty cool. Pretty weird. I have no idea what's going to happen in a couple weeks when we get box 4. But I'm glad that I did this one finally so that I am caught up. There's nothing else. I have nothing else in my archives. I am now back to waiting for boxes along with you guys. Okay. I think that's going to conclude things for this episode of The Haunted Sponge Definitely Solves Hunt a Killer. And I think this time I lived up to the name. I think we definitely solved everything that we could out of this box. And we'll know, I assume, in the next box whether or not my theory is correct. She is so obviously the victim that it makes me think she shouldn't be the victim. But she's so properly the victim based on the themes of how Aaron DeVale operates. Up with nature. Down with pigeon kickers who buy junk on the weekends. All right, that's it for me. If you guys liked this video, all I ask is that you let me know somehow in the comments, somewhere. Spread the word, spread the cheer. Let other people out there in the world know that I exist, because so many people still don't. It's really alarming and disarming. If you enjoyed this show, you might enjoy other shows that I do that are just like this. Go to talkbomb.com. That's my production company where I run a bunch of podcasts. At midnight tonight, Eastern time, a new episode of Book Club Schmuck Club, the show that I do with my sister Kristen, comes out. We're reviewing a mystery book called Magpie Murders. Very much sort of an Agatha Christie-ish book. Very interesting, very shocking announcement at the top of the show. You're going to want to be sitting down. Brace yourselves for that. And a very exciting announcement of new things to come, because Talk Bomb is at a point right now where it's evolving yet again. I have in my possession right now 3 episodes of shows that don't exist yet. I've recorded 2 pilots for brand new podcasts, and we're going to move forward. The pilot phase is concluded. Brand new series coming your way, probably within the next month, most likely. If you ever want to stay tuned to what I'm doing through that stuff, make sure you follow @TalkBomb all over the place. Go to talkbomb.com. Stay up to date with everything that we're working on. My shows are always funny and weird, and I like to have a good time in them, and I hope that you guys have a good time too. But really, once again, I hope you guys just had a good time with me tonight. So thank you so much, Christy Spinks, Charles Goss, my mom. Let me see, let's do a little roll call here. Christy Marie Williamson Turner. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this episode. I really appreciate it. And I will see you in a future episode of Haunted Sponge Definitely Solves Hunt a Killer. But until that time comes, I'm going to go lock myself in a chamber until the next video needs to be made. Until then, happy hunting.